Carbs, 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 carbs. Carbs are not the enemy. They're not hiding under your bed waiting to make you fat. They don't automatically turn into belly fat the second you eat after 6 p.m. But for some reason, carbs have become the villain in fitness. Honestly, people think if you have like one bite of rice, you're going to undo all your progress. So let's break this down. What do carbs actually do in your body? How do they affect fat loss? And why cutting them out completely usually ends up making things worse and not better? Now, carbs are your body's main source of energy. When you eat carbs, things like oats, rice, potato, bread, fruit, sugary stuff, sweets, your body breaks them down into glucose. Glucose fuels your brain, muscles, and even your nervous system. Your body stores some of that glucose as glycogen in your muscles and liver. That glycogen is what gives you energy during your workouts. It literally powers your lifts, your runs, your daily movement. So no carbs equals no glycogen equals you feeling flat, possibly weak, feeling like you've been hit by a bus halfway through your session. Now, this is why when people go super low carb, they usually complain about low energy, poor sleep, brain fog, and their strength just dropping. Now, please remember, carbs don't make you fat. Eating too many total calories make you fat. You can gain weight eating too many avocados. You can gain weight by eating too much almond butter. Now, this is going to piss some people off. You can gain weight by overeating steak. The same way you can overeat things such as rice and pasta. And when you overeat those things, you gain body fat. The only reason why people think cutting carbs makes them lose weight is because when you lower carbs, your glycogen stores in the body drop. Now, each gram of glycogen holds about 3 grams of water. So when you step on the scale, if you've lost glycogen and water, the weight on the scale will drop because those things are no longer in your body. The same way, if you're on the scale and someone hands you a 1 liter bottle of water, your weight will go up. It doesn't mean you've gained body fat. It just means you're holding the bottle of water. If someone takes the bottle of water away, it doesn't mean you've miraculously burnt body fat and lost weight. Well, you have lost weight because the number on the scale is lower because someone took that bottle of water away. So when you drop the glycogen, because the glycogen holds on to 3 grams of water, that water is no longer there. That glycogen is no longer there. Therefore, the scale drops and people look at the number on the scale and think, yes, this is working. I'm losing body fat. Now, studies back this up. Calorie control is what drives fat loss, not the amount of carbs that you eat. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Carbs can actually help you lose fat when you use them properly. They can fuel better workouts, give you more energy, which equals better performance, which equals or can equal more calories burnt, which could equal more muscles built. And if you've built more muscle, well, muscle burns more energy, calories at rest. So in the long term, that's going to mean that you lose body fat quicker because you have a faster metabolism. Carbs also support recovery. They reduce cortisol, which is a stress hormone. They help to replenish glycogen post-workout so you can recover faster and feel less wiped out. They can improve your mood and your sleep. Low-carb diets can increase stress and reduce serotonin. That's why you may feel more irritable or anxious when you cut carbs too low. Carbs can help you to stick to the plan. Let's be honest, cutting carbs makes most people miserable. And if your diet makes you miserable, you're not going to stick to it. Sustainability beats restriction every goddamn time. So how can you make carbs work for you? Choose quality carbs. Think about oats, rice, potatoes, fruits, beans, and veg. These are what you're calling complex carbohydrates, which take longer to digest. Then you got your pastries and your sugary sweets. That's more of your simple sugars, which is kind of like instant energy. However, too much of it can build up quite quickly. The problem is we tend to lean towards the pastries and the sweets and the sugary stuff because they're highly palatable. They taste incredibly good. But what comes along with those are the ability to eat a crap ton of it and the fact that they're very calorically dense. The complex carbohydrates come with more fiber, more vitamins and minerals. So again, they digest slow, which keeps you fuller for longer. They also help to stabilize your blood sugar. Don't fear carbs at night. There used to be a saying about don't eat carbs after 6 p.m. Now, there's some grains of truth there, and I'll make another video on that. But in terms of having carbs after 6 p.m., just in a simplistic form, it is complete nonsense. In fact, the carbs in the evening can improve your sleep quality because they increase, I'm gonna have to do these words, aren't I? Tryptophan and serotonin. Allow me if I've butchered those fucking words. You know what, fuck it, I'm gonna mention the truth that is with not eating after 6 p.m. Not eating after 6 p.m., the reason why there is some truth to that is because for most people, after 6 p.m., they're chilling out. This is like we're watching a movie, chilling out with Netflix or whatever. And after 6 p.m., you tend to nibble. So you're going to go for the crisps, you're going to go for the sweets, you're going to go for the popcorn, you're going to go for something that's probably not going to be great for where you want to be in your fitness journey. That's why the whole don't eat carbs after 6 p.m. is a thing, I think, or how I would implement it. Because if you say no carbs after 6 p.m., a lot of those kind of nice, tasty treats, they're out the window, they're gone. So if you're like, you can only have fat and I can only have protein, the likelihood of you watching a movie and then saying, I'm gonna go cook a steak is less likely than, let me grab that pack of crisps and open it and mindlessly eat. And that's the other thing is, if you're watching something, you can mindlessly eat. So you can just be shoving food in your mouth, even though you're not really hungry. Again, these foods are highly palatable. They taste amazing. So it's natural that you're just gonna want to eat more and more, kind of moreish kind of thing. So that's where the whole don't eat carbs after 6 p.m. kind of came from, and that's how I would apply it if I were using something like that. But again, that would be down to a client's eating patterns. Hope that makes sense. Now, there are a few cases where a low carb diet can be useful. If someone is sedentary, diabetic, or has insulin resistance, then reducing carbs can help manage blood sugar levels. But even then, it's not really about cutting carbs completely, but more about controlling the intake and maybe choosing the right sources, as you mentioned before, going more for your complex carbohydrates than your simple ones. And please, if you are training 3 to 5 times a week, you are lifting weights, you are doing cardio, or you just live an active lifestyle. There are some people who are construction workers, manual labor people, right, who they burn a lot of calories and they're in a move a lot. You will perform and recover far better with carbs in your diet. Trust me, I used to do a manual labor job. I used to be carrying massive rolls of material in a warehouse, and I did that for many years. I think I did it for about 10 years, right? And I tried my best to do keto. I tried my best to do what was kind of like an Atkins diet at the time, and oh my fucking days, it was bad. I just didn't have a lot of energy, and there was a lot of bad stuff that happened that came from that, you know. I burnt myself out, libido went down, a lot of bad things happened. So please, don't fear carbohydrates. They are a tool, use them, and just perform better, do better. If you need help constructing a diet that works for you and your lifestyle, or you want some more information on carbohydrates or any of the other macros, or you just have a question, feel free to drop me a message.